सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Namaskaram. On the topic of Sarvatra Samadarśanaḥ, one who abides in the vision of samatvam, sameness, equality, oneness, non-duality, sarvatra, everywhere, in everything, at all the times, at all the places. To appreciate the importance of this samatvam, which becomes clear also from the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, of which the main theme seems to be samatvam, we started discussing the asamatvam, the non-sameness, the diversity, the duality that we experience, and we try to trace the cause of this duality as explained by the Upanishads. Because Upanishads or Vedanta has to explain our life. And explain why we think the way we do. Explain why we are what we are and why we think the way we think, and how that thinking, all those opinions or conclusions, are a cause of all the sorrow in our life. Our Pujya Swami used to say that the first thing that the teacher of Vedanta does is to make the student aware that there is a problem in life, that there is a common problem. Even though it may appear that everybody faces a different problem in life, which we do, but we can say everybody faces a different situation in life. And we also face different situations at different times. It's all changing. But a situation becomes problem on account of the assessment of the situation. The way we assess the situation converts a situation into a problem. And again, the way we assess a situation is determined by the way we assess ourselves. So our assessment of ourselves, our perception of ourselves, our opinions and conclusions about ourselves, they form the basis with the assessment, opinions, conclusions about everything other than ourselves. And these assessments, opinions, conclusions about ourselves, which form the basis of the opinions and conclusions and assessment of things other than these situations, is what transforms the situation into a problem. So no doubt Ishvara has created a situation and continues to create. And Vedanta explains the reason for the way things are created. It is not that this creation of situation of life is arbitrary. That is the fancy of the Creator that it creates a given situation in my life and a different situation in your life, etc. is not arbitrary. Vedanta explains the reason for that. Reason is karma. Karma means a deliberate action performed by me is the basis for the situations that I confront in my life. This is said not to blame myself, but to give us an explanation of why things are the way they are. That the situation that I confront has a basis in the karma or the deliberate actions that I must have performed in the past. Some situations can be traced to the karma that I perform in this life, then we understand why I am confronting, because I see how I've been responsible for that. But there are many things that we confront for which we cannot find a justifiable reason in terms of our own conduct in the past. And that causes a big problem because then we don't have a reason or understanding or explanation for why things are happening. Why me? So Vedanta says that whatever is happening is an effect, and effect must have a cause. And that cause is in the form of karma, deliberate action, and karma or deliberate action performed by me. I may or may not remember. It may be actions I perform in this lifetime and I do not remember. Or it may be actions performed in the past lives, which of course I do not remember. There also is a basis of accepting the past life that there has to be a continuity. From the past to the present to explain the present. That the present cannot be explained without taking into account the past. So there must be a past for the present to be there. That past also was a present at that time for which also there must have been a past. And that past also was a present at that time for which also there must have been a past. So that way this chain of the present and past, or effect and cause, seems to be beginningless, which also we accept that there is no beginning. Meaning there is no point when it started. Meaning there is no reason for it. Beginning means a point, means cause. So we can't explain the cause of this creation. All we can explain is that there is a pattern in this creation. And karma is the reason for the various patterns or configurations. So thus, we confront a situation. And certainly there is diversity in situation, uncertainty in situation. And we have an assessment about the situation. From that, we have an assessment about ourselves. An assessment about ourselves causes an assessment of the situation. That in turn causes an assessment about ourselves. And that's the basis of my response to the situation. So all of this is said to explain how we take as real what we perceive. Number one, that we are confronted with having to face a situation which keeps changing, which is diverse, where there is diversity, divisions, non-equality, separatedness. And further, that we take as real what we confront, that the diversity, division, etc. that we confront is real. And this was explained with an example of how there is a diversity of costumes for an actor. And he enters a costume one by one, or he may enter a costume simultaneously if he is a very talented actor. And entering costume doesn't mean just putting on the costume here, but then changing the identity, identifying with the costume. So that's what each one of us is. Is not only we have assumed this costume, but each one of us is identified with the costume. Which means that we have no knowledge of what our true identity is. When that actor proclaims that I'm a beggar, there is no awareness of what his true identity is. He thinks that that is his identity, that is what he is. So this is the basis of this duality division in life. That even though duality or division emerges from the non-dual, the undivided, the indivisible, and therefore the division does not have a reality, and still we take that division to be real. Why is it so? So Vedanta gives an explanation: ignorance. Earlier we said Maya. We can call it ignorance, the Maya of the nature of ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing the true identity and taking the false identity as real. Like the actor not knowing that he is a wealthy person and thinks that he is a beggar. So this ignorance has two aspects: of not knowing the truth called veiling or avaranam, and wrongly knowing called the projection or vikshepa or projection. All of this is an explanation of why we feel the way we feel. So Vedanta has to give an explanation of life. You said, or Puja Swami used to say that the teacher has to explain first and make aware, make the student aware that there is a problem. And that problem needs to be solved in order to achieve success in life. That the problem that we have in life makes us seekers of success. We are seeking success in our life, seeking happiness in life, peace in life, success in life. We become seekers of success. Like that beggar desiring to become wealthy. What is it that does that? Explanation is ignorance. There is something like ignorance in our life, because of which a successful person is converted into a seeker of success. A person whose nature is happiness is as though made into a seeker of happiness. So thus this ignorance has done two things. Number one, created the diversity, and number two, given the reality to diversity. But Swamiji, how does ignorance create this world? Well, we said ignorance has two aspects. Self-ignorance. One aspect is I do not know the true nature of myself, that I am successful already, I am happy already, I am limitless already, not knowing that. And second is I take myself unsuccessful, unhappy, incomplete, inadequate. Other aspect of happiness, ignorance. By doing this, ignorance has set into motion a whole chain of action and reaction. By creating in me this notion that I am incomplete, I am inadequate, I am lacking, I am wanting, right away in me is created desire that I must become free from lack and want, because I cannot tolerate a lack and want of myself. But lack or want or incompleteness in itself is not a problem. But that lack or want or incompleteness centered upon the self is a problem. A self is a problem. Incomplete self is a problem. Incompleteness is not a problem. Incomplete self is a problem. Failure is not a problem. The failure self is a problem. Meaning that the ignorance has made my own self as my problem. Look at that. Like the beggar who wants to become wealthy, or the famous 10th man story, where the one who is searching for 10th man is himself the 10th man. But ignorance of his true nature has created the problem that he doesn't know that he is the 10th man. And therefore, he thinks 10th man has to be sought. So 10th man has been made into a seeker of 10th man by ignorance. Ignorance has created a duality of seeker and sought. That's the basic duality. Thus the teacher has to first explain that there is a problem. Or problem, not the problem that the world generally considers problem. Poverty is a problem. Illiteracy is a problem. Hunger is a problem. They are problems, we accept them as problems. But by themselves they need not become my problems. By themselves they need not be a cause of my sorrow. Unless in some way I connect myself with that. And I think that I am that problem. When I hold myself responsible for hunger there, poverty there, illiteracy, something or the other, somehow when I superimpose something upon me, that's when it becomes my problem. Otherwise situation to be dealt with. So this giving reality duality transforms or converts situations into problems of inadequacy, incompleteness, sadness, makes me a seeker, creates in me this rajas, the constant struggle to become something, to become successful, to become happy, to become complete. Therefore, basic problem in life is ignorance, no doubt about that. What does ignorance do? Creates duality. Oh, we are discussing how ignorance creates things. So just as ignorance creates in this man, 10th man, the notion that the 10th man is lost, and then creates a desire that I must search for the 10th man. And that desire then creates all the activities of searching for the 10th man. And that activity may need some tools or implements or some vehicles like bicycle, etc. All that may be created. Here also what the ignorance does is creates in me a sense of inadequacy, incompleteness. And they say, I cannot accept incompleteness centered on the self. Incompleteness, elsewhere is not my problem. Centered on self, incompleteness, inadequacy, non-success, centered upon self is my problem. And that's what ignorance does. Ignorance has done. So ignorance has created a perception that I'm inadequate, I'm incomplete, I'm unhappy, I'm unsuccessful. And that in turn creates a desire for success, for happiness, for completeness. And then what next? Next is, because I already concluded that I'm unsuccessful, I'm unhappy, I'm incomplete. That in turn, as I said, the perception of myself or assessment of myself becomes a basis of assessing other things. So then something else looks to me as a means of happiness. First assessment is, I am unhappy. And therefore looks that, yes, that's what will make me happy. So then I look upon that as the means of happiness. I am unsuccessful as I am. If that happens, then I'll become successful. So that happening becomes a means of success, self-success. So my assessment or my perception of myself causes this assessment or perception of other things. And naturally then, already a successful person is made a seeker of success. That appears to me as a means of success. And then I want it. That's how desires are created. There is basically a desire for becoming complete, desire of becoming successful, desire of becoming happy, desire of becoming free. Because of the conclusion that I am not, I am bound, I am unhappy, I am incomplete, I am unsuccessful. And that perception of myself causes again a projection that I look upon something as a means of success, happiness, completeness. Naturally then I want it. I can be successful only when I have that. I can be happy only when I have that. So desire to acquire, to possess, to achieve, to become. 10th man desiring to become 10th man. Or unhappy person desiring to become happy. Unsuccessful desiring to become successful. This becoming, that is acquiring, possessing, becoming. Even that is not a problem. Unfortunately, this search for the 10th man can never be successful. As long as he continues to think that he's not the 10th man is someone different from himself, and think, oh, he's there, he's behind that hill, he's below that, etc., etc. He'll keep on searching for it. It's a never-ending problem. Similarly, as long as my perception continues to be that I'm unsuccessful, inadequate, incomplete, unhappy, as long as that perception continues so long, I'll always be struggling to become something, to search for something, to acquire something, to possess something, to experience something. So this is how giving reality to duality, to non-sameness, to diversity, to division, that I am separate from others, others are separate from me, I am confined to this body, mind, sense complex, this much I am. And naturally the body is inadequate, all this complex is insignificantly small, and therefore I always think I'm insignificantly small. So this is how the duality, or the perception of duality, I should say, perception of inequality, perception of division, is the cause of the problem. Then I desire, I want something, I must perform an action to acquire, to achieve. Action creates the result. Like 10th man searching for the 10th man. He thinks the 10th man is behind that tree, he goes there, doesn't find him. So another desire, maybe he is behind that tree. Start searching, doesn't find. Desire, maybe he is in that hill, behind the hill, etc., etc. So every non-fulfillment of a desire causes a new desire. But Swamiji, who says our desires are not fulfilled? They are fulfilled. We've been successful in many ways, many of our desires have been fulfilled. Yes and no. A desire may be fulfilled. I want to become a graduate, I want to go to the US, I want to have a US degree, I want to have a job, I want to have income, I want to have promotion. Yes, certainly. A lot of success is there. A lot of desires are fulfilled. We cannot say they are not fulfilled. But we will find that in spite of having desires fulfilled, and it is true that when a desire is fulfilled, there is a satisfaction. Unfortunately, that satisfaction is not a lasting satisfaction. I find that is all right, but it's not adequate. So even when my desire is fulfilled, and I do feel a sense of satisfaction for a while, but I do not become free from the sense of inadequacy. Meaning that success or fulfillment of desire does not make me an adequate person, does not change my perception that I am inadequate. I am incomplete. That perception doesn't change. For a moment, that inadequacy may go away and then I become unaware of that. Because success creates some kind of a infatuation. And therefore, I become unaware of what's going on in my mind, and therefore I become happy all right also. But once the effect goes away, then I come back, and that inadequacy again takes over me. So success does give me some satisfaction for a while, but that is because of more an infatuation that the success has created. When the effect of it goes away, I come back to the same inadequacy and I become again a seeker of seeking adequacy. So just as the desire of the 10th man will never be fulfilled, so also the desire of a human being of becoming happy, meaning lasting happiness, lasting adequacy, can never be fulfilled as long as it is sought from outside of ourselves. So desire for becoming complete, an action, result, momentary success, momentary satisfaction, coming back again to the old breath, I'm inadequate, again a desire, again an effort, again a struggle, and maybe success, maybe satisfaction for some time. And the high and the low, when the effect of that high that comes from the success, that again goes away, again come back, again I come back. So we can see how the ignorance by creating in me the wrong conclusion that I'm inadequate, I'm incomplete, unhappy, has set into motion a never-ending chain of action and reaction. A never-ending chain of action and result. Because as a result of the action, I do not find that I am what I wanted to be. I do not find that I have got what I wanted. And therefore, again the desire for adequacy, desire for happiness takes over me. I perform another action. That creates another outcome. That creates another action. So chain of action and reaction. Karma, karma phala, karma. So this is how the samsara is characterized. Hetu phalatmaka samsara, also it is said, Hetu phalatmaka samsara. Hetu, cause, phala, the effect. Hetu, karma, phala, karma phala. What is phala becomes a hetu, unfortunate. What is phala, or the result from one standpoint, becomes hetu. So when I perform a karma, it is hetu. I get the result, which is the phala. Experiencing that result may cause happiness if it is success. Even the result itself may cause unhappiness if I brand it as failure. But success also, being only a result of my intoxication, so when that effect of intoxication goes, again I become a seeker of success. So whether the result is successful or failure, the inadequate self is not erased, and therefore the desire for adequacy continues. Chain of action and hetu and phala. That phala, the outcome, becomes a cause for another desire, becomes hetu. That causes an action. That creates the result, which is phalam. But that phalam itself, because it does not produce adequacy in me, becomes again the cause of new desire, new action, becomes hetu. Hetu phalatmaka samsara. Samsara is the nature of hetu and phala, cause and effect. Where everything is a cause from one standpoint, effect from another standpoint. That's the reason why it's a ceaseless chain, a never-ending chain. If the effect is only the effect, that is that it will stop. But effect also becomes cause to produce another effect. That effect becomes cause to produce another effect. That is how the incessant chain of cause and effect goes on. That's what samsara. Samsarati asmin is samsara. One keeps on sliding from one to the other to the other. And now even this also is okay. But now, when I think I'm unhappy, then something else will make me happy. I look upon something as a source of happiness, then that becomes very important to me. its possession, its experience, its retention, all of them become very important to me because it's a source of happiness. But unfortunately what happens is that what I consider so happiness, some other one also thinks, and there can be more than one contenders for the same thing, in which case it's quite likely that someone else may hinder my accomplishment of a goal because that one also enters in the same goal. That means someone can become an obstacle to my achieving a goal. I don't like it. Therefore that one becomes an object of my aversion. I hate. More I love what I want, more I hate the one that becomes an obstacle to what I want. Dvesha. So raga, attachment for what I look upon as source of happiness or freedom or adequacy. The raga, the same intention of raga is then transferred to someone who becomes an obstacle to attainment of that fulfillment of the raga, fulfillment desire, that becomes an object of dvesha. That's how raga dveshas are created. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. Avidya, ignorance. Of what nature? Looking upon the adequate self as inadequate is ignorance. Looking upon an entity which is not a source of happiness, looking upon that as happiness is ignorance. That's how the Sankhyas explain avidya. Looking at non-self as self creates asmita, sense of individuality, the ego. Ego means inadequate self, incomplete self, a lacking, wanting self, always desiring something, projecting. I project inadequacy upon myself, project adequacy upon something else. Meaning that I am living in my imagined world, I am never in the real world. In that imagined world, if someone is an obstacle to my fulfilling what I want, becomes an obstacle, the object of dvesha, aversion. If someone helps me in acquiring what I want, becomes an object of attachment also, so raga and dvesha. Not everybody always is an object of dvesha. There are people who help me, who like me. I like them. Because I look upon them as source of happiness, comfort. There are many whom I dislike because I look upon them as source of unhappiness, discomfort, embarrassment. Some people embarrass me. Some will just make me impatient. They provoke me. There are people who provoke me, embarrass me, make me impatient, who hurt me. And after all, there is a variety. Division is there. It's going to happen. So raga and dvesha. So raga, attachment, creates desire to acquire and possess and enjoy. Dvesha also creates desire to avoid, to get rid of, to hurt even. So desires are created, actions are created, the results are created. Further raga dvesha, appointment, disappointments created, further raga dvesha is created. This is how the whole, this is called samsara. That's our life. Life of constant suffering. With periods of relief, yes. When my desire is satisfied, there is a period of relief, no doubt about that. There is a sense of relief, sense of happiness. Doesn't last too long, depends upon my luck. It will last for this time, this much time, that much time, but it has to come to an end someday. You know what is Swarga, what is heaven? Heaven is where that happiness lasts for a long time. That's why there is heaven. that I take a lot of trouble here to perform punya karma, virtuous actions, and accumulate a lot of punya, a lot of virtue. Even though there may be a lot of exertion or pain involved in acquiring that punya, I do that so that I will go to Swarga, heaven, and enjoy happiness for a long time. So yes, there is this Swarga, there is this heaven, where this happiness remains for a long time, but not forever. Kshine punya martyalokam vishanti. When the punya, the virtue, gets exhausted, because what I am experiencing in Swarga is the result of what I have earned here. When those earnings are then spent, martyalokam vishanti, I come back here. So even though Swarga is supposed to be a place or a realm where there is a lot of happiness, and still that happiness also comes to an end. And again I come back here. Gata gatam kama kama labhante. So our scriptures, our Vedas themselves prescribe a lot of means of acquiring that kind of happiness. Trevidyamam somapaha putapapaha yajñerištva svargatim prarthayante. Trevidyaha, the knowers of three Vedas, somapaha, performing somayagas, pudapapaha, and thus accumulating lot of punya, yajñahištva swargatim prarthayante, they perform a lot of yajna, a lot of yaga they perform, swargatim prarthayante. But then what is that prarthana? What is their motivating force? Is Swargatim. I want to go to heaven. I want that happiness which I don't find here. Then definitely they get the punya. Swargatim prarthayante. Then they go to Swarga. Dividevya bhogan. They enjoy those divine pleasures. Kshine punya, then punya becomes exhausted, they come back. Kata gatam kama kama labhante. Those who are trying to solve the problem of unhappiness, there is a way of solving that problem we are constantly striving. Human beings struggles to solve the problem of unhappiness by becoming happy. How do I become happy? By acquiring some event, some object, creating a situation, let us say, which will make me happy. So heaven is creating a situation that will make me happy. Or whatever we are doing in our life these days also is nothing but creating situations for ourselves which will make us happy. Or which will avoid unhappiness. Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. Attaining happiness, avoiding unhappiness. But this way of solving the problem, which is what human being does, because that is what his understanding allows him to do. Because he gives reality to unhappiness. He gives reality to his sense of inadequacy. He gives reality to his sense of confinement or, paricheda, the confinement, seeming the limitedness. So, giving reality to that, then this is a way to solve the problem, you can say. As long as I think 10th man is lost, searching for the 10th man is the only solution. As long as I continue to feel that I am unhappy, then searching for happiness is the only solution. And happiness is in those objects and things and beings, and therefore acquiring them, possessing them, enjoying them, retaining them is the means of happiness. And that's what I do. That's what human being does. Humankind does. No doubt, a constant effort to solve the problem of unhappiness. But it doesn't do that, doesn't achieve the goal that it is seeking. the search for contentment never comes to an end. So search for happiness also doesn't come to an end. We can delude ourselves and think that I'm successful, Swami, I'm done, I'm happy. You can delude yourself into believing that. But inside I know that I'm not quite what I want to be. I'm not quite happy with myself, not satisfied with myself. So this giving, this division, this duality. So then karma is performed, karma phala is accumulated. Now the law of karma is that the one who performs the karma is accountable for experiencing the result also. That's law of karma. Law of karma has two aspects. One is a law of cause and effect. That karma produces an effect which is compatible to karma. A karma phala is compatible to karma, one aspect of karma, law of karma. The second aspect is that the one who performs the karma is the one who is accountable for experiencing the result of that karma. If karma produces effect, then I'm free, done with that, I have no problem. But no, the one I who performed the karma is accountable for experiencing the result of the karma. That's what the problem is. We keep on performing karma every moment, keep on producing effect also, karma phala. And my lifetime is not long enough to experience all the karma phalas. So then, they all keep accumulated in my account. I can't escape from having to experience the result of my karma. I may not want to escape also because I may have done a lot of good things and I'm hoping that they will give me some desirable things, so I want them also. I may have done many things which I may not desire to experience out, but I have to experience them anyway. So good and bad, both kinds of karma is there. But every karma will produce an effect, and the one who performed the karma is the one who has to experience that effect, today or tomorrow. Na bhuktam kshiyate karma kalpa koti shatairapi. Even in crores of kalpa or the cycles of creation, the karma that is done will not get exhausted without producing its phala or the result. So that sets the ground for the next verse. Again, since I am born with the same kind of mentality, same kind of mindset, I'm inadequate, but to become adequate, I'm unhappy, to become happy, unsuccessful, to become successful. Therefore, becoming continues there also, because same mindset also I carry from one embodiment to the other. And therefore I start the same thing there. Gata agatam kama kama labhante. Gata agata, going and coming. Kama kama, those who are trying to solve the problem of happiness by fulfilling desires. Therefore kama kama. They will all wind up with again, beginning, they start from again, begin square one and continue the struggle. So now, this chain of birth and death continues. And imagine that it continues because there is, as long as ignorance is there is nothing to stop this chain. It may continue even up to the end of this whole cycle of creation with billions and trillions and quadrillion years. Long cycle. It continue. At the end of the cycle, when now there is a time of reversing the whole thing because creation sustains, so merging and emerging, merging and emerging. So when the whole universe will emerge again into the source, like my going to sleep. For the whole day I keep on doing it, then I go to sleep. And all my desires, all things, everything then remains in the sleep, only in a potential form. When I wake up next morning, I wake up with the same things with which I went to sleep. Just as we have every day this cycle of day and night, day and night, day and night, waking and sleeping, again waking and sleeping. So then there is a cycle of creation and dissolution, creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution. Jagat viparivartate, Lord Krishna says that the Jagat undergoes a whole cyclical change of creation, sustenance, dissolution. So at the end of the cycle, these countless jivas are there, with their countless desires unfulfilled, countless karmas unexperienced, they go to sleep. Then they have to wake up with the same karma, etc. Therefore, at the end of the cycle of creation, when this time of dissolution comes, like the whole universe goes to sleep, for a long time that sleep is there. Then everybody is woken up. Just as I'm woken up from sleep, every morning, what wakes me up? Not the alarm clock, not my mother, not the spouse, not somebody else. It's my karma that wakes me up. So where is karma in here? My wife woke me up, alarm clock woke me up, my mother woke me up, dogs woke me up. And here the peacocks also wake you up. At 4:30 in the morning they start in unison. Looks like they wake me up. But in reality, it's my own karma that creates a situation and wakes me up. My karma inspires the spouse to wake up this fellow. My karma alone makes the alarm clock ring. My karma alone makes the dogs bark. My karma makes the peacocks scream. Karma wakes me up. Similarly, the combined karma of all the countless jivas who have gone to sleep in the state of dissolution, they all make them wake up. That is called the next cycle of creation. So Upanishad, so kamayata, Ishvara desired to create. Why should Ishvara desire? That's not the problem. Why should Ishvara desire? We thought Ishvara is complete and whole. Why should he have desire? So desire that Ishvara has is not desire for his own agenda. That is the desire to fulfill the agenda of all the jivas who are now anxious to wake up and experience the result of their actions. And therefore, Ishvara simply responds to the need of all these countless jivas who want to wake up and who want to fulfill their desires, they want to experience the results of the actions they have performed. So Ishvara, the Creator, has to create a platform where all the jivas can wake up and then continue their life. Of what? Life of becoming. Because that's what they want. Desiring, acting, fulfilling desires. Desire, act karma. Desire, kama, karma phala. Ragadvesha. Kama, karma phala. Ragadvesha. So that is how the result of the universe is a creation which is a response to the need of all the living beings who want an appropriate platform to fulfill their incomplete desires or to experience the inexperienced results of the action. Now, when Ishvara desires, that desire is nothing but the cumulative desire of all the living beings. And therefore, when Ishvara creates, supposedly creates to fulfill the agenda of all the Jivatmas. But in short, this universe is the result of a desire. Upanishad may say, desire of Ishvara, so kamayata. But we would say that the desire, the first desire that Ishvara has is the cumulative desires of all the jivas, all living beings. And desire, why is that desire? Because I think I'm incomplete, inadequate, unhappy. Why do I have that perception of myself? Because I do not know that happiness, completeness, adequacy is my nature. Because I'm ignorant of the true nature of myself, it creates a false perception of myself. That creates a desire of becoming adequate. That causes actions to fulfill those desires. That bring about the results of those actions. That necessitates new embodiments or experience that. And so every experience becomes the basis of a new desire and new karma, therefore the cycle continues. So the next embodiment as I die with unfulfilled desires, unfulfilled actions, I'm born with that. And the next cycle of creation also, all jivas are born that way. So universe is a creation which is in response to the needs of all the jivas who want to fulfill their desires. What is the nature of desire? I want to be happy, I want to be adequate. Similar to the desire of the 10th man. Why is that desire? Because of the ignorance of the true nature of the self. In that sense we say that ignorance is the cause of creation. Sometimes we call it Maya. Because, why ignorance? No answer. Swami, when does ignorance begin? Why is there ignorance? Why should I be ignorant of myself? If adequacy, fulfillment, happiness is my nature, why do I look upon myself unhappy? I don't know. So ignorance. Why ignorance? No answer. Meaning that it's an inexplicable thing. The basic cause is inexplicable, logically inexplicable. The limitless feeling essence of limitedness, we call it ignorance, but why ignorance? It's there. Anadi, anirvachya. There's no beginning, there's no cause. Cannot be defined as such and such. Meaning that we are in a trap. And we are born in that trap. With now a task to come out of the trap, to become successful. And we are trying to become successful. But the way we are trying to become successful is not the way to become successful. The way we are trying to become happy is not the way to become happy. That's a trap. And unless somebody points out all this to us, that's why our Swami used to say, the first thing that a Vedanta teacher does is to make the student realize that there is a problem in life, that there is a struggle of becoming, struggle of fulfilling desire, and it is a never-ending struggle. That's the kind of problem that human being has. And this is what the teacher has to make the student aware of the problem in the life. And also that life is nothing but a constant struggle to solve this problem. In a way, a human being recognizes the problem of inadequacy and happiness and tries to solve that problem in his own way, which causes desires, which causes actions. An action is seeking fulfillment. To make the action successful, you need many things. To perform the action itself, you need many things. That's why these gross and subtle bodies are there, so that we can fulfill the action, perform actions, experience the results, entertain desires, perform actions. That's how the whole creation is. But then it's a trap that we do not know. The basis on which we are doing all of this is not the true basis. The basis is in our conclusions, in our opinions about ourselves, conclusions about ourselves, perception about ourselves, which in turn shapes our perception, conclusion about the world, which creates a certain relationship of seeker and sought. Desires, actions, and actions require means to fulfill the action. Therefore, the universe must have also the provision to provide those means. So this is what Ishvara does. That when he creates the universe, he wants to provide all these countless jivas a platform where they can fulfill their desires. And fulfilling desire needs the means to fulfill that desire. And our own gross and subtle body, the first means, but then we also require the world. A lot of resources from the world are also required to fulfill our desires. Our own effort is required, no doubt. We require many resources from the world also to fulfill our desires. So those resources also have to be created. When a desire is fulfilled, then again we need to experience the result, which also may require different kind of resources to experience the result. Meaning that we did some good actions and now happiness is something that we have to experience, and that may inspire us to go to Hawaii. So Hawaii must be created. And 5-star hotel may be created. And beaches may have to be created. All sorts of things may have to be created so that our desire for experiencing happiness is fulfilled. So you can imagine how Ishvara has taken into account all these things to create a platform where our desires are expressed, the actions to fulfill those desires are also taking place, where means of performing the actions are also provided, where the results of action are also there, where the means of experiencing those results are also provided. And then comes the outcome, happiness, unhappiness, raga, dvesha. That's how this chain continues. So therefore, Vedanta explains that this universe is created for fulfilling the desires of all the jivas, provide them a platform, provide them a means of fulfilling those desires, providing them means to performing actions, provide them means to experience the results of the action. That's one way of explaining the purpose of this creation. It's not a very it is an explanation from where you can find faults, sometimes logical faults also. We do not say it's a faultless explanation, but it's an adequate explanation to understand our life. Because Vedanta first has to explain our life. Explain what the things are. Why we feel the way we feel. Why we think the way we do. Why do you do things the way we do? Why do you feel about others also the way we do? All of this has a reason. And this creation, when Vedanta teaches us this process of creation, the purpose of that is to enable us to understand why the universe is what it is, why we feel the way we feel. And when we understand it properly, then we would understand what's the nature of problem and what's the nature of solution. We shall continue our discussion. Om.
रघुराम राम जय राम 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 जय राम 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 जय राम रघुराम 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 राम जय राम राम जय राम 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 रघुराम राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघुराम राम जय राम राम जय राम रघुराम राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघुराम राम जय राम कौसल्या सुखवर्धन राम कौसल्या सुखवर्धन राम कौसल्या सुखवर्धन राम 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 जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम 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 राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
कौसल्या सुखवर्धन रामा,
कौसल्या सुखवर्धन राम,
श्रीमद् दशरथ नंदन रामा,
श्रीमद्दशरथ नंदन राम,
जानकी जीवन श्री रघुरामा,
जानकी जीवन श्री रघुराम,
मारुति सेवित राजा रामा,
मारुति सेवित राजा राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
राम राम जय राम, रघुराम राम जय राम,
जय जय राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
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 जय जय राम सीताराम,
जय
जय
राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय जय राम सीताराम,
जय
जय
राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय
जय जय
राम सीताराम,
राम सीताराम,
जय
जय
राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय
जय
राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय राम सीताराम,
जय जय राम सीताराम,